How much snow will you see this winter? In this video, we'll answer that question. Some people won't get any snow, while others will see enough snowfall to bury houses. In this video, I'm going to try and show you how much snow you can expect this winter, down to the inch. Wish me luck! But first, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more weather updates. A big factor in how much snow we could see this winter is the ENSO, or the El Nino Southern Oscillation. Right now we're in an ENSO Neutral, where temperatures in the tropical Pacific are close to average or slightly cooler than average. And this winter we're supposed to be going into either a weak La Nina or staying in ENSO Neutral. But this La Nina that has actually been advertised for months, so far it hasn't happened. Now, during an ENSO Neutral winter, we would usually have that colder air over the Midwest, the Great Lakes region, and the Northeast part of the US, but with warmer conditions across the South, and even going into the Southwest and the Great Basin area, and wet conditions across the Southeast. But typically in a La Nina, we would see the colder temperatures a bit further to the west across the north-central part of the US, and then we would have wetter conditions across the Northwest and in the Ohio Valley, as you have an active storm track along the polar jet stream, and then we would have warmer conditions across the South and the East, with drier conditions across the southern US, even the Southwest. And this is just what would typically happen. It's not going to be exactly the same every time. This map shows the typical snowfall pattern for a weak La Nina, and this is part of what goes into what I'm actually forecasting. And it shows the Northwest, the north-central part of the US, and even, the Midwest, the Great Lakes region, and even part of the Northeast could see above average snowfall. Then you'd have below average snowfall over the Four Corners region, and even parts of the Ohio Valley, where you have warmer temperatures and below average precipitation across the Four Corners region. And also across the Ohio Valley, you have more precipitation, but also warmer temperatures. But more precipitation and colder than average temperatures across the northern part of the US, and that would lead to above average snowfall. And the forecast models are actually, looks like they're going more for a La Nina setup, where you have, this is the NMME model showing below average temperatures across the northwestern part of the US, but very warm temperatures across the South, the Southwest, the South, and even going into the eastern US, with above average temperatures there. The CANSIPS is showing something a bit different, where the colder air is more centered over the north-central US, even the Great Lakes area, but the southern half of the US really in significantly above average temperatures, especially across the Southwest, even New Mexico and Texas. Well above average temperatures there. The CFS, similar, but the colder is a bit further to the north. Definitely temperatures well above average across, further south across the US. And the NMME model is also showing above average precipitation across the northwest part of the US and that Ohio Valley. But then you have below average temperatures across California, the Southwest, and even the Southeast. And the CFS kind of showing the same thing with those above average precipitation, and that would also be with below average temperatures. So this is where we would be expecting more snowfall across the Northwest and even the Midwest, the Great Lakes region. They're showing above average precipitation also for the Ohio Valley, with drier conditions across the Southeast and Texas and the Southwest. And so this is what I'm forecasting. I'm forecasting above average snowfall across the northern part of the US, especially over the Northwest and the Great Lakes region. The Great Lakes especially, you can see a lot of lake effect snow as that cold air comes down. That's a very quick way to add up a lot of snow. But then across the Four Corners area, I'm thinking, below average snowfall. And also across the south, even going across towards the kind of mid-Atlantic area, you can see below average snowfall, where things will be warmer down there, so I think snowfall will be below average there. So, how much snow are you actually going to see this winter? Well, in the brown area, a lot of people are probably not going to see anything. This is portions of California at low elevations. That could be Sacramento, LA, Southwest, Phoenix, Arizona, the South, the Gulf Coast, and the Southeast. Places like Houston, Texas, Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Jackson, Mississippi, places like that. Probably not going to see much of anything. Now, of course, there's a chance that people in this area do get some snow. Like a snowstorm can end up dropping, maybe a dusting of snow in some of these areas, or maybe even more, like a couple of inches. But for the most part, snow is not expected in this area. Next, we have the areas in the gray that are probably going to see less than 1 inch of snow. Places like Dallas, Little Rock, Atlanta, Charlotte, North Carolina, places like that, less than 1 inch of snow is expected there. And then we have in the lightest blue area to the north of that, 1 to 6 inches. Places like Oklahoma City, Springfield, Missouri, Nashville, Tennessee, Greensboro, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, and the Delmarva Peninsula. Those places probably going to see anywhere from 1 to 6 inches of snow. And then to the north of that, we have 6 to 12 inches. The lower foothills in California, the northern panhandle of Texas, central Kansas, Kansas City, St. Louis, Missouri, Indianapolis, Louisville, Kentucky, Cincinnati, Ohio, Knoxville, Tennessee, western North Carolina, and even Washington, D.C. could see, between 6 and 12 inches of snow. And then, further north of that, in the dark blue, we have areas that could see 12 to 24 inches of snow. That's 1 to 2 feet. Places like Portland, Oregon, Seattle, the foothills and kind of lower mountains in California, Boise, Idaho, parts of the Great Basin, a lot of New Mexico, and then even further east you have places like Columbus, Ohio, Philadelphia, Trenton, and New York City. And then in the light purple area, here are the areas that are expected to see some more significant snow. That's 24 to 48 inches. That's 2 to 4 feet of snow. And as you go up in elevation across the western U.S., also the Dakotas, like Bismarck, North Dakota, Pierre, South Dakota, Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, and then even going further east, Boston could see 2 to 4 feet of snow. Then 48 to 72 inches, that's places that could see 3 to 6 feet of snow. We have higher elevations in the western U.S., Reno, Nevada, Flagstaff, Arizona, I think Denver, Colorado's in there, and Rapid City, South Dakota, most of Minnesota, Milwaukee, Chicago, Detroit, and even Albany, New York in there could see 3 to 6 feet of snow. And then here are areas that could see between 72 and 120 inches of snow. That's 6 to 10 feet. That's a lot of snow. That's getting close to the amount that could bury houses. Definitely higher elevations in the western U.S., of course, and then areas in the Midwest like Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lansing, Michigan, Cleveland, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and most of the Northeast also could see that 6 to 10 feet of snow. And then, finally, the areas of the U.S. that'll probably see over 10 feet of snow this winter, including the Cascade Mountains, the Sierra Nevada Mountains, the Rockies, of course, and anybody kind of downwind of the Great Lakes, where that cold air comes down, you're going to see a lot of snow. There's places like Yellowstone could see over 10 feet of snow. Marquette, Michigan, Duluth, Minnesota, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Erie, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, New York, and even Watertown, New York. Those are some places that could see over 10 feet of snow this winter. And by the way, in the western U.S., there are some individual peaks that could see as much as like 20 to 50 feet of snow this winter. That's a lot of snow. And then it's not just snowstorms. Freezing rain is a big problem during the winter. And here's a map showing the risk for freezing rain across the U.S. this winter. And it's based on averages and the same temperature and precipitation patterns from the forecast models and what we typically see depending on the ENSO phase, whether it's a ENSO Neutral or a weak La Nina. But this is kind of random because ice storms happen on a pretty narrow track between the part of the winter storm that will see rain and the part that sees snow, and it's usually on the northern side of a warm front. But here's just an idea of what you could expect this winter in terms of freezing rain. In the white area, freezing rain is not expected. That's, you know, the southeastern U.S., the southwest, the Great Basin. You know, a lot of these places don't see freezing rain. And then you have in the gray, it's a low chance. It doesn't mean it won't happen. You could have a freezing rain event in this area. So there's a low chance that you can have some freezing rain events. And then next we have in the moderate area, you could have a few freezing rain events happening there, kind of in the northern central plains, the southern plains, you know, going across towards Kentucky, even further going towards the East Coast. You could have some freezing rain, and also in the northwestern U.S., some freezing rain events are possible. And then in the high chance, that's pretty high chance that you see some ice storms across eastern Washington, northeastern Oregon, western Idaho, definitely possible. And then anywhere in this kind of purple area. And then the very high, this is the highest chance for seeing several ice storms would probably be over here in the Midwest, and even part of the Northeast, where you have, you know, a lot of interactions with the colder air, but then you can also have warm air going over it. Definitely, I think this is usually the region that sees the most freezing rain in general during winter, so that's why they're in a very high chance of seeing freezing rain this winter. Thanks for watching this video. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up, share the video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel for more weather updates. Extreme Weather Zone, out.